I'm Pris, and this is Pris Builds, and today I'm going to be reviewing 123 Sesame Street. Retails for $120 in the US, 1,367 pieces, 9 cents a brick about. Which, considering some of the specialty pieces in here, I think that's actually pretty decent for what we got for this set. So let us chat about Sesame Street. This was an idea set, and I believe the creator's name was Ivan Guerrero. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry. But we do have Big Bird and Big Bird's nest. His little teddy bear. His roller skates, which is kind of cool. He has a picture of Snuffy and a picture of Mr. Hooper. So I thought all of that was kind of cool. He is a very cool minifig. So he is very textured. I do love his awesome printing they did on his legs. I thought it was very true to the original bird. I'm gonna put you back in there, dude. I didn't like this build. It's like a little mailbox, but it doesn't actually really connect. So it just kind of sits there, and I'm never happy with things that don't actually lock into place. So that bothered me a little bit. I did like the front facade. I thought it was very nice looking. The sign for Sesame Street. This is actually printed brick, which is almost like the only printed brick. Everything on here is very much stickers. There's lots and lots of stickers. A little too many stickers if you ask me, but okay. No one's asking me, right? I do like this little area down here where Oscar lives in his trash can. He does have a little slimy custom piece, which was kind of cool. In the original idea submission, I believe it was actually a build for Slimy, which I think I would have preferred. But you know, I do think this is still very cute and adorable. Down here, there is a little like hidden area with a spider, which was kind of cool in this little crawl space. Hanging out near Oscar, I guess, makes sense. Then we have Hooper's store, and he has a little eating area as well outside. So I did like that. The cash register was kind of a cute, like old-timey cash register. This overall was a nice little area that they did for Hooper's. I like the sign for Hooper's. I also like the outside of Hooper's. There are these newspapers. One is for Super Grover. So Grover's out, too busy saving the day to be in the set, I guess. I used to love Super Grover as a kid. Just FYI. Then we have Cookie Monster in his little apartment area. He's watching some guy smiling on VHS. This is definitely like old Sesame Street and not current Sesame Street. Otherwise, they'd just be streaming it, right? But he's got his cookies hanging out. The count. And it's hard to see, but there is a little gold frog because we have to keep having frogs, I think, in every set. I'm keeping track now, Lego. I feel there's a frog conspiracy. There's almost a little apartment area. I do like his little brick that they used. It's a printed piece to do like a little goldfish bowl, which I thought was kind of awesome. And he has a little bedroom area. There's Bert and Ernie's apartment. They have lots of little pictures up here. There are different versions to a couple of the old Sesame Street skits. Bert's got his paper clips. And Bert and Ernie are hanging out. And we got the bathroom with Rubber Ducky, because you're the one, Rubber Ducky. You're the one. I do think it's a little weird that they didn't put like a divider or separation or something in there. The bathroom is just, I think it's just, it's very studio. This is like a super studio apartment. Very intense. No privacy, none at all. Hope they're comfy with each other. Then we have Bert's pigeons. I don't know if they're actually his, but he did love pigeons in the show. And then we have the little alien spacecraft, which is kind of cool. I loved the Yip Yip aliens. I thought they were hilarious. I also loved the two-headed monster. I don't know if he's even on Sesame Street anymore. I haven't seen him on any recent skits. I'm not a parent, but I have friends who are parents, and I had some pretty big age gaps between me and my younger sister. So I kind of thought recognize some of the newer ones, but I did watch some new episodes, and there are Muppets I do not know, and there are ones that I remember very dearly that are just like MIA. So there's all types of very sweet, very sentimental things in this. Definitely cool. I love the Biff and Sully's construction piece they have here. I mean, there's lots of different things you can just notice and find, especially for the olden days. It does kind of feel like they were trying to focus on some of the older monsters or Muppets, which was kind of cool. There are a lot of new ones. You know, Sesame Street's changed a lot over the years. And that's kind of, I guess, where we're going to start to get into our tangent of Tangent Tuesday, which is just Sesame Street and Lego ideas, and kind of how I felt about this set in general. Because this set evoked a lot of feelings. So I'm a huge Jim Henson fan. He was very active on Sesame Street. Kermit the Frog was on Sesame Street for, I don't know if he still appears, but he was definitely on there when I was a kid. He usually was a reporter reporting on various fairy tale happenings. Kermit the Frog reporting to you live. I used to love his segments. I loved a lot of the certain monsters. I was kind of upset about the ones they didn't choose to put into this, and that we had Elmo. And this is where things get kind of tricky with, I feel, Sesame Street in general, is it's really hard to make everyone happy. There's too many residents of Sesame Street. I mean, it has had 4,500 episodes. I'm going to put a link in the description from an article that I read. But Sesame Street's been around since 1969. So they've had lots of residents come and go, both human and Muppet and monster alike over the years, which kind of makes sense. You know, some of which I was kind of, sad to see were no longer part of the show, that I didn't know had disappeared since the olden days or more modern days. And some new ones I thought were really cool that they've added. So they've had some bunch of different Muppets where they now have like different racial backgrounds than we've seen previously, as well as they've had a Muppet on the autistic spectrum and one who was dealing with homelessness. And, I think there was one who had like parents were incarcerated, or a parent was incarcerated. So they're dealing with lots of different issues, even substance abuse, things that, we hadn't seen before necessarily. So I think that is kind of cool that they are creating like a kid way to talk about things, which I think is kind of important. Kids need an outlet. They need a way to discuss that type of stuff and have like a context for it. So I do think that is cool, even if we're not seeing maybe as many of our old Muppet trends. We are getting some new ones. And I do think that that's where this set does get kind of tricky, is, the Muppets that I would have chosen, had you said pick out like, however many, I might not have chosen the same that someone else would. We all have different fond memories for people who grew up with them. I will say, when I looked at the original submission, it originally had 14 minifigs. It was also a much larger build. So first of all, much larger build. It was kind of similar to the Ghostbuster Firehouse, where it was a large apartment building that opened up and kind of showed all their different little houses. Well, not really houses, apartments, sorry. But it showed all their little apartments. And it was very sweet. I did think it was really cool and really detailed. And even with the 14, it still didn't include everyone that I would have wanted to see, even though it did have Prairie Dawn. She was one of the few like female Muppets on the Sesame Street when I was a kid. Most of the Muppets, whether or not they were male, they seemed to be more male gender in nature, I'm gonna say. But now looking back, I'm like, I don't know. Some of them maybe they were just non-binary. I'm not sure if all of them really were as masculine as I thought back in the day. Deep thoughts about Muppets. But I did think it was very cool, like the original submission that he did. It was very elaborate. And he even had like some of the human characters. So I guess for me, I would kind of like to know if the original creator thought this was, kind of true to his original Lego idea submission, even though it's been kind of simplified. I do think it's a very cool set. I don't regret buying it at all. I loved all the stuff they did manage to chalk into it, and especially at that, $120 retail value. I thought that was pretty epic. But I would have liked to see more. this is a set that I think you would have a hard time making everybody happy because everyone has different memories. You know, there are lots of different skits that they've done over the years and reoccurring things. Like I loved a skit where, you know, Grover was a waiter and he was annoying the dude like with his food all the time. Monster Piece Theater with Cookie Monster. It becomes really tricky. Like, what are you going to include? What are you not going to include? So I would have liked to have seen it a little bit more in that grand scale. Because what has me worried is that this is the only Sesame Street set I'm going to get, you know, for however long. You know, are they going to maybe make another one? It doesn't really feel like it with what they've included here. I kind of feel like this is going to be all I'm going to get for Sesame Street. I would have wanted it to be kind of over the top and grandiose. I would have rather thrown down like closer to $300 and gotten something more along this scale of like Assembly Square maybe, or even a little bit more upwards and had something more like the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I just think it would have been, we could have done a lot more with it if this is it. And that's where I am. So if they're going to add more, then I think that, yeah, this is a great start. But it just feels like it's a postcard and not a poster. You know, it's like it's very simplified. So even from like the original creator, it's been simplified from that, and you know, from all the characters in the 4,500 something episodes, however many are now at this point. You know, all the things we could have included. I would love to see it taken a little further. Overall, I think it's a very sweet, very endearing set. I loved building it. Like, I mean, loved building it. Like, it was this super nostalgic thing for me, and I really enjoyed it. I think this is a great set for collectors. And I think this is an awesome set for nostalgia. And if you have a young person who likes to currently watch Sesame Street, this would be a great set to build and play with them. Because it is very cool and very fun. And there are so many just neat little pockets of coolness happening in here. I'm Chris, and I built this.